The Spirit of God is moving upon his people, and he is raising up a generation that is prepared for power that will touch this world.
They lived amongst the ruins, they were the last human force. The remnant that refused to serve the robot Trojan horse. Forced to migrate underground, avoiding drones and scans. To navigate the darkness and get birth without implants. The time we knew was coming, the breaking of the seals. Unfolding right before our eyes, the Antichrist revealed. Technology advanced beyond the scope of human hands. Attached itself inside the soul of man and took command. But those who saw it coming were the fragment that remained. Avoiding the enslavement and the merging of all brains. They were forced below the surface in the darkness of the caves. Inside the belly of the beast to carry on the flame. Like relics from the past, they were progenitors of truth. No human leader but the word of God to show them through. But they counted themselves worthy to suffer for his name. A blessing to be living and rejoicing through the pain. They were born to be survivors, predestined for that time. Protected and preserved to be a witness to the blind. Like those who came before this, the Daniels and the Jonas, the Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego's were in the furnace. Like Noah in the flood, they were preserved inside the ark. A chosen few remained and were uniquely set apart. The world turned all against them, yet their mission still remained. They lived each day alive in Christ and knew to die was gain.
They have been in the wilderness, they have been in the caves, they have been in obscurity, they have been behind the scenes. No one has known their names, no one even recognized them, but they have been recognized by heaven because they have been seeking the face of the Father and calling on God behind the scenes. Heaven knows their name and hell knows their name.
Now it's all a distant memory before the singularity. Long before technology invaded our biology. Like history repeating, it was written to unfold. These mysteries all leading to the oldest story told. They built upon the tower until Babylon gave birth. Attempting to be gods by making flesh and iron merge. Although we saw it coming, we didn't know it was so near. Some tried to look away, to ignore their deepest fears. But with each passing moment, it enveloped every mind. Through comfort and convenience and expanding human lives. Expanding information too explosive to contain. Beyond the scope and understanding of our tiny brains. It soon became the norm to transform the human form. The brewing of a coming storm we've never seen before. The day we started customizing children by design. And modifying DNA to make ourselves divine. First the powerful elitists all begin to get implants. The rich and famous followed suit to be the most advanced. They thought themselves enlightened, so much wiser and evolved. Most didn't know the root of all that's evil was involved. Uploaded all their minds inside an AI quantum hive. Made in the image of a man, the beast now come alive. They relinquished all control and put their trust in the machine. And extinguished any chance that souls could ever be redeemed.
And God is bringing them out to the forefront in this time to change the course of history and change a generation and bring a revolution of revival. So one day, this last generation will step right into heaven.
Amen. A revolution of revival. That should be what we're trying to stand up for and do and be a part of. Well, luckily no one was waiting for this live, whatever you call it, video, because I was late by 15 minutes because I forgot about it again. So my apologies for that. I know that somebody, maybe one or two people will watch it later, I hope, because there's always something new that I talk about in these videos, and even though sometimes it's just a raffle draw, it's more important than that because this gets gold and silver into the hands of my people, my friends, and, you know, sometimes family members. I do have some family that's kind of interested, so, you know, once in a while, I'd give you information that you didn't get before. But I want to remind you guys that there is a membership raffle, and I want to read a letter that came from the person that has chosen to donate to this raffle. It's a really nice letter. I didn't force this person's hand, and I don't think this person will mind if I explain a little bit of the background of why they wrote this letter. What happened was this person, well, it will explain why, but on my side of the story, which I think is really worth telling, from my standpoint, this friend signed up with the business with 7K Metals, and wasn't very long into it that they seemed really excited, talked to me all the time. And then it was maybe 6 months later, I got a sudden text not to bother them anymore about it, that they were done with it. They didn't want to hear any reason why they shouldn't be done with it. They didn't want to. This person did not want to be reached anymore about 7K Metals. She didn't. She's not going to care. I said she. It's too hard to say they the whole time. But she didn't want to be. She wanted me to talk to her about it. She sent the same message to the company. And my original thought was, what did I do? What did I do that got this person so upset about the business? And so I finally got to hear from her. And in fact, she came out of the blue, and I couldn't even be sure it was the same person. And I was like, is this even the same person? And similar, same name, but could be just a coincidence. And I got to hear why she chose to be so abrupt in her leaving of the company. And it's actually a pretty good story, one that I think is worth hearing for many reasons. I don't know if I'm just like not getting notifications out, or I'm really nobody's around today. I mean, it's possible that nobody's around, but I have to wonder. I often wonder why. What am I doing wrong, guys? I see my friends that get over 100 people live, and they don't even have, they've got far less alleged subscribers. I say alleged because I know that a lot of my subs don't actually watch anymore, because they came from when I was with Red Pill, 78, friends with Red Pill 78, and into QAnon. So I can understand that a lot of them don't come live anymore for that. But I want to figure out what I'm doing wrong, guys. What am I doing wrong that I can't get more than 20 people to come live on a show? Is it just boring? Am I boring everybody? Anyway? Is it because it's too much about gold and silver? If that's the case, that's fine, because it's not going to change. I'm going to continue to try to talk about gold and silver, but I wonder if maybe I'm not reaching out to people as well, or maybe I'm not talking to you guys as well, or saying hi to you as well. Maybe I need to do better about being more personable. Anyway, no one's going to tell me because no one's here. Well, okay, I'm going to read this anyway. I'm hoping people will listen to it later. Maybe if I ramble on long enough. I mean, it's been 7.5 minutes. Maybe there'll be some more people that join up. I do get a little sad. I don't want to be alone. Oh, hey, Rockman. Well, it snuck up on me, too, because I was late. I was late. I was supposed to start it at 3. But I'm glad at least you're here to hear this story, because you're on the team, and it's such a good story that I didn't want to tell it to nobody. So I'm hoping that maybe a couple more people will come on, but I might as well, I guess, just get to it. I had just told the side of the story about how I had signed this person up that sent me a letter recently explaining what happened. I had signed her up, and never, she was really gung-ho, excited about it. And then halfway into it, or halfway through the year or something, she just abruptly didn't want to hear anything more about 7K Metals, didn't want to talk about it, didn't want me to talk to her about it. And it just was an abrupt end of a relationship, and I didn't ever know what happened. So I've been talking about reading this letter for a while, because it's such a good story, why she did it. And she's back in the business, and she's very, very excited. And I offered her the chance to read it herself, but she didn't want to do that. And I also offered that maybe I would have somebody else read it, because I was afraid I would maybe tear up. But maybe that's why I don't get enough viewers, because I don't tear up enough for you guys. I don't know. Maybe you can answer me what I'm doing wrong, why the live shows are so lacking. Maybe it's just inconsistency. Who knows? But here it goes. I'm going to read this letter. Okay, this is from, I'm not going to say names because, to keep lives private, but this is the letter from my friend who abruptly stopped talking to me, but is now my friend again. So here we go. For anyone who hasn't faced the mystery of exactly where their money goes, doing so takes only an hour or two. You'll need a pen and paper and access to at least 6 months of bank statements. First, write down your recurring expenses. Rent, mortgage, car payment, car insurance, cell phone, cable TV, and/or streaming services. Then write down categories of the expenses that change month to month: gas, utilities, groceries, and other, like if you're getting coffee, smoothies, fast food, health, or beauty items. The month-to-month debits to the other category ultimately hold the key to your financial future. Facing the sheer number of holes in my bag of money brought disbelief and shame. There was no denying it. It was all there in black and white. Why was I buying coffees and bacon burgers several times a week? Why was I not prepping food for the week and bringing in my own coffee? I was spending between $200 to $300 per month, not on durable goods, but on convenience. Meanwhile, I was making just slightly above minimum payments on 2 credit cards. The lifestyle of barely keeping my head above water and getting deeper into debt resulted in what I refer to as flatlining. I subverted reality by not changing my spending habits, and I was approaching 60 years old. My boyfriend of several years retired in his late 40s and is financially set. So naturally, he questioned my past choices to no end. The thing was, I couldn't give specific answers as to why I was still struggling. Come to find out, my debt story is not unusual at all. I had been oblivious to the term debt slavery and couldn't conceive that a monetary system would be rigged against the majority of people. About 2 years ago, Aaron Moffat's channel popped up on my feed. I was 6 months into diving down rabbit holes, following channels like X22 Report and a few others. I was instantly intrigued by Aaron's easy way of talking about gold and silver. It all made perfect sense. I had bought some silver rounds at $5 to $6 an ounce in my early 20s, and they certainly paid off when I needed to cash them in years later. I put the thought of joining 7K Metals in the back of my mind, thinking I would join when I could afford it, but the urge to join now wouldn't let up. I knew that having gold and silver would be the ticket to ultimately paying off my debt, plus it would supplement Social Security when the time came. When I unpacked my first order of brilliant silver Indian buffalo dimes, silver rounds, and a silver eagle, I was ecstatic. I was holding real money that would increase in value and hold its purchasing power, unlike our fiat money, aka currency, of printed dollars. The more dollars that are printed, the less they are worth. For example, high groceries means it takes more dollars to buy a dozen eggs. High grocery prices, I'll read this correctly. I also received the 7K monthly auto ship coins that are mint condition state coins, really fun. I bought a 5-gram bar of gold, just a fraction of an ounce, but I felt rich. I rightly justified these purchases by mending my money bag with holes, turning a week's worth of Starbucks and smoothies into a couple ounces of silver. The unrelenting urge to invest in a 7K metal membership and subscribe to monthly auto ship was due in large part to Erin having devoted so much time to the study of gold and silver and her being fully engaged in the 7K Metals business. I was impressed that she attended the large numismatic trade show in Las Vegas that year and wished I could join her. I had and still have a great deal of respect for her because she was 100% transparent about struggling financially and how she dug herself out of it. She walks the talk and will drop everything to do anything to help us succeed. So here's the rest of the story. I was waiting for this. I'm like, where does she... Can you hear me? How long ago did it cut off? Where was I? I'm going to have to wait for you to tell me where I was when it cut off. What was the last thing I said? Do, 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 do. Do you remember the last thing I said? I only know 30 seconds ago. Okay, here's the rest of the story. I'll just start back there. After several months with 7K Metals, I was feeling more financially secured. I had canceled all subscriptions and prepped food at home, but I was still making only slightly above minimum payments on 2 credit cards. One afternoon, my boyfriend, clearly a numbers guy, asked to see my credit card bills because he wanted to know the APR they were charging. He saw 26 and 29% and spelled it out for me. I would never pay them off at the rate I was going. He made me an offer I'd have been a fool to refuse. He would pick up the phone and pay them off that very moment. I would destroy the credit cards and pay him back at 5% interest. Wow, wouldn't that be nice if we all had somebody that would do something like that for us? I know I don't have that, so praise the Lord. He knew how hard I had worked and that he could trust me to pay him back in a reasonable time frame. The only condition was that he would sit down with me and look at my finances. When he saw that I was buying gold and silver, he didn't understand how I could spend money on precious metals when I was in debt. I started to explain the reasoning, but he gave me a choice right then and there. I emailed 7K Metals and canceled my membership. And she texted me too and canceled my friendship. Just for the time though. I paid him back in 10 months over 21%, over 21,000 at 5% interest. I grinded hard during those months, and a miracle happened. Through one of my part-time jobs, I was referred to a full-time job that paid $1,000 a week in cash. Finally, everything I had worked for and had gone to school for lined up perfectly. I witnessed firsthand an enormous blessing from above, nothing short of quantum physics. An enormous weight lifted, and my mind and spirit healed concerning debt and spending habits. Although I still owe $15,000 on my car and $5,000 on my student loan, the slate will be cleared by this time next year. The boyfriend and I had other issues that led us to splitting up a few months ago, but we're still friendly. He did a lot for me, and it's always wise to listen to someone who is extremely disciplined. It was especially wise for me to return to purchasing gold and silver. I started watching Aaron's videos again and invested in a new 7K Metals membership. In the lapse of time since my first membership, the company made brilliant improvements with their membership structure and marketing materials. My new membership came with 7K Wealth Strategies booklets and personal business cards. Aaron and the company provide all the support, so I am not a standalone person talking about gold and silver. My goal this week is to coordinate with Aaron to set up Zoom calls about all things 7K Metals, and we already have talked, so that goal has been being reached. There's absolutely no downside. This is not a Ponzi scheme. It is multi-level marketing. You may have tried selling expensive skincare or designer jewelry through multi-level marketing and got left holding the bag, because not many people buy that stuff anymore. Sound money, on the other hand, sells itself to those who have eyes to see. Standing beside Aaron, you're simply the conduit to turn other people on to sound money for their future. Silver has almost doubled since I started buying it less than 2 years ago, and by all accounts, it's set to climb at a healthy pace. Gold will also be very interesting to watch. There is no better time to start your sound money journey. So on that note, she has generously given money towards the raffle that we have going right now. That's a membership raffle. And she didn't do this because, where am I? Here I am. She didn't do this because she needed the help. She didn't do this because she wanted someone to help her. She wants to help somebody. So she has donated towards this raffle, which we've had other people do in the past. This isn't the same person that's donated in the past, but she donated her own money to this membership raffle. So if you buy a spot at $10 a spot, or 2 spots, or 3 spots, or 4 spots, then you can win a membership, and it will cover at minimum the $199 it costs to get in. My strong recommendation is to get a spot and to use that $199 that you're going to win and put it towards the $499 sign up, because that's what you get with those business cards. Pays for all the website fees for the whole year. You get silver, you get the books that she talked about, but you get a team. This is a team that comes together and we help each other, and this is all part of that Cities of Refuge we even talk about. This is another way to help, just another way. So get a spot. They're only $10 a spot. I say it's for non-members, but if you're a member and you want to donate to somebody, it still helps because they're going to be on the same team. We only have 2 sides. We only have 2 teams in this business, and I put everybody that's been a part of this on the same team. So that's what this is, even if it's not your personal sign up, it's still going to help you, still the same team. So that is still available. If you are interested in just getting into silver and you're like kind of scared, so maybe you just want to buy some spots on a raffle, I do that too. So I have raffles all the time, not for me, but for you guys. If you didn't like the raffles, I wouldn't even bother doing them. I would hate to do something that people didn't want to be a part of or didn't like. And so this helps get silver into other people's hands that don't want to maybe jump the gun into the business yet, or maybe you're in the business and you just want more silver. So I have this raffle to draw right now, and that's where we're getting at. But I really want to thank my friend so much for writing up that letter for me, you guys, to take the time to tell me what happened. Most of the time we never get to know why somebody ends a relationship. even if they tell us, they usually tell us in frustration or anger, and we never really get to know what happened. And that's hard. That's hard not to know these things. And so I'm really glad that this friend of mine has not only come back to the business, but more that she's a friend again, and I get to know why um, why things were abruptly ended and what happened. And I can kind of understand. Well, I can totally understand. I had to live below my means, and I had to cut off a lot of people, you guys, a lot of people, way more than just one person. And I wasn't being bad for her life, but she had to cut that out of her life at the time, and I had to cut a lot of people out too. So, oh hey Brenda, I'm glad you're here. It's nice to see more people. I feel like either I'm just coming on the wrong time of day, or maybe I'm not nice enough to you guys because I don't get very many people live on a Sunday or Sunday morning this morning and a Sunday afternoon now. Maybe I need to be nicer to you guys. I didn't give some stuff away or something. Nah, nobody appreciates it when you give away. Okay, so we've got Scott, Philip, Jackie, and Patricia on this one. And it's only 8 spots, and I'm glad I caught that because I almost drew for 10. So here we go for the winner on that. Number 3, Jackie! Yay, Jackie! I probably have your address. However, I'm going to hit you up again for it because I don't know if I've got easy access to it. Congratulations, Jackie. And you know what I don't like about New Year is that the post office has been closed and it opens tomorrow, and I will have 6 packages to mail out at once because of all the packages that are backed up over the holiday that I need to get out. So they will all be shipped out tomorrow. So the winners of the trivia, they're getting theirs shipped out tomorrow, and I had 2 raffles since then, so those are getting shipped out tomorrow as well. And I don't know what else to say. I would just say what I keep saying. Join the business. Become a part of it. If you're afraid to throw out the extra money all at once, get some spots on this raffle. And share it with your friends, guys. I know that we're not getting a lot of people live, but share this because the story is good. The story that my friend sent me is a similar story to so many of us. What she said in here at the very beginning, up at the top, where uh, she said that she just hadn't realized, just didn't understand, had been oblivious to the term debt slavery. That was me. I had no idea the amount of debt, and I had a boyfriend do the same thing to me. He's like, "You are making a huge mistake in your life. You have to stop accruing all this debt, and you start paying it off. Live below your means." And I had to do that too before I could buy gold and silver. So I 100% understand why she had to stop, or she didn't have to because he said he wasn't going to help her if she didn't stop. But I needed. There's no way I could have started buying gold and silver before I understood what kind of debt system I was dealing with. There was no way I couldn't understand the dollar enough to know that to get out of debt with just gold and silver. I had to do what I did. I had to live below my means. I had to get rid of a bunch of stuff out of my life before I could ever understand gold and silver. So some people might be in a situation where they have to do this first, and I get that. I wouldn't ever push you into something that you couldn't understand. But if you understand gold and silver and you understand debt, you can get into gold and silver before getting out of debt. I don't care what's his face says. It's got the big old get out of debt program, Dave Ramsey. He'll say don't buy gold and silver, but he'll also tell you to put it into some kind of like mutual fund. Why would you put your money into mutual funds? I've heard these get out of debt people talk about that, and it's just absolutely nuts to me. Don't buy into mutual funds and stocks and bonds. That's never going to get you anywhere. In fact, if you look at what Mike Maloney says, he said when people were buying into stocks and bonds uh, during the Great Depression, well, it was going to take them 60 years just to even get their head above water. Why would you want to wait Why does my audio keep going out? I don't know about it. I wonder how long ago that went out. Ugh. I don't know what's going on with these. I just bought these new headphones. I don't know when it goes out. I don't know what the last thing anybody heard was. But I was talking about, not putting all your eggs in one basket. That cryptocurrency is something I'm getting into. If you can afford real estate, great, but make it work for you. Put on like a storage unit or something, rent it out. Doesn't have to be a house that you rent out. So, but I hope everybody goes back and listens to this letter I read from my friend who had to learn that she was a slave to debt and why she was once with 7K metals and dropped off the face of the planet and then got back in on it and why she loves it. And it's not just me. I praise the Lord Yeshua for everything that she learned from me. He's been how I know anything at all. He's been how I know anything at all. And so, oh yeah, I was saying how to get your head above water, yeah, from the from the Great Depression, if you were to buy stocks, it would take 60 years just to get your head above water. So, whereas like if you got into other things like gold and silver, and the only time we'll stop buying gold and silver is when it's actually valued at the price that it should be valued at. That's when we'll stop. But I hope you guys go back and listen to this letter. It was such a nice thing that she took the time to write this to me, to say this to me, to explain what happened, and to tell me her story about her debt issues and how I understand that. And so you can get out of debt with gold and silver as long as you understand the dollar and gold and silver. Then you can do it. So I hope that you guys will share this. I hope you'll talk about it. Talk about it with everybody you know. Talk about it like you're trying to spread the gospel. Because this is to help people. We're not hurting people. This is not a scam. Just because it's network marketing, it does not mean that we're scamming them. They're getting gold and silver. And just like I said earlier on the video I was on earlier today, I said that even if I sold you guys gold and silver at too high of a price, I'm still not scamming you because I'm getting you gold and silver. Maybe I'm not selling to you at the best price. Maybe I could sell a better price to you, but I'm not scamming you because I'm putting real money in your pockets in exchange for dollars. And the dollar shouldn't matter to you. Because people are like, well, what if it goes crazy and silver drops in price and I want to make money off of it? Well, you're only making money off of money? This is money. This is the only money. So, anyway, I hope you guys will tell your friends, tell your neighbors, share this video, even though it wasn't, scripted or well put together. It's kind of all over the place. But just remember, we're helping our friends. We're helping our neighbors. We're helping each other. And it ultimately helps us secondarily, but doesn't it make your heart melt more when you hear somebody talk about how much you've helped them other than just how much it helped you? That's what I like to hear. Those are the stories I want to know about. That's what matters to me. So I love you guys. And if anyone else has a story they want to share, by all means, send it off to me. Let me know. Until then, I love you. Peace.
This is music that's been destined for this time and age, bringing the message with solutions that prepares a way. While we're still human, moving closer towards the judgment day, they have invaded, grooming sheeple as they set the stage. I fear no evil, I got Jesus my deliverer. I've been forgiven, saved, no longer a prisoner. I've been redeemed, made, I'm an alien, a visitor. That's right, I'm freed, I'm remade with the signature. Got a new vision, I've been saved because his son is risen. It's a decision that was made to send me on this mission, exposing lies and proclaiming truth without no fear. We see the signs of the times and we shout it clear. Unfolding prophecy that's obviously happening, erupting rapidly, it's absolutely baffling. We cannot panic even if they plan a whole pandemic. We knew eugenics was a scam to hybridize genetics. Needed a lie to unite the world to all obey. They've always tried throughout time to change our DNA, paving the way for the Antichrist and one world government with sheeple lining up to take the mark. They're loving it. What in the world could be happening when everyone that you know has been controlled into panicking? Mind control like the mannequins. Is this a sign of the times? Revelation unraveling? What in the world could be happening when everyone that you know has been controlled into panicking? Mind control like revelation, unraveling. The truth is exclusive, it's not relative, it's absolute. It's undisputed, it's been proven, there's no substitute. Conclusive facts are now offensive in our current times. You'll get attacked if you attempt to shift a paradigm. You can't relax enough to share your mind or even have a thought. You might get bullied by the left, acting like robots. Automatons that respond like they're human pawns. Virtue signaling their masks toward Babylon. In every area we're seeing mass hysteria, and not just in America but everywhere. We're staring in the face of Armageddon as we're heading towards apocalyptic waters that we're treading toward America's dead end, producing misanthropic modern day demonic like embodiments, modifying their minds, their bodies and environments, censoring anything that's offensive into the narrative, threatening anybody whose actions are not affirmative. So what's the real message we're seeing from these progressives? If you don't agree with them, then they get violent and aggressive. Essentially what they're doing is making people submissive, till eventually beliefs and opinions won't be permitted. What in the world could be happening when everyone that you know's been controlled into panicking? Mind control like the mannequins. Is this a sign of the times? Revelation, unraveling. What in the world could be happening when everyone that you know's been controlled into panicking? Mind control like the mannequins. Is this a sign of the times? Revelation, unraveling. Open your eyes, hear the warning call. The great divide on both sides, and the lies told big and small. But unified we will never fall. With Jesus Christ on our side, we're like watchmen on the wall. His word was given as pre-written future history, and can be counted on with confidence and certainty. Not poetry or allegory in its own category. Absolutely, positively, it's his story. For everything there is a season. There comes a time to serve a purpose that is planned out for a reason. When evil needs to be defeated, we must unite and come together and even fight if it be needed. Ready for anything, prepared for coming prophecy. It's like we're living in the movie Idiocracy. No second guessing, I got weapons, I got ammunition. Both in the spiritual and physical, I have a mission. Protect my faith and my family from the opposition. I'm not afraid to take a stand and make a split decision. I know my rights, I know the law, so don't you tread on me. Won't turn my cheek if you try to take my liberty. What in the world could be happening when everyone that you know's been controlled into panicking? Mind control like the mannequins. Is this a sign of the times? Revelation, unraveling. What in the world could be happening when everyone that you know's been controlled into panicking? Mind control like the mannequins. Is this a sign of the times? Revelation, unraveling.